Hello, my name is Sally Pinto, and I'm the Program Director for the Yonkers NORC, Neighborhood Naturally Occurring Retirement Community. We serve seniors 60 plus in Northeast Yonkers. We are under the auspices of WJCS and the Yonkers Office for the Aging. We also have a resource specialist and a nurse on staff. We conduct virtual programming in partnership with the Yonkers Public Library on a daily basis. Enjoy the program.
Thank you so much. Good morning, Pam, Mary, Alexis, Sally, Z. So good to be with everybody. This whole community is a wonderful group to be a part of and a great way to start off our wonderful Wednesdays. We have our basic structure here. If you've been joining us each Wednesday, we'll start off with a warm-up. We'll do a few rounds of exercises out of our chair, and we'll wrap up the exercise portion with some standing movements, and then we'll finish off the whole class with a mindfulness experience. And today, we have a poem to look at. So we got a great class coming up. Today, especially, I will be utilizing, as I mentioned the last few weeks, a great way to add a little intensity to your workout from home. If you don't have any hand weights, if you have a few hand weights, you can incorporate those as you feel comfortable, certainly. But if you got a few equally sized water bottles or cans of soup or bags of rice or peas or something like that, just holding those in your hands throughout the exercise will get your forearms, your wrists involved. Add a little weight to the session so your body knows there's something that is working against it bit. But it's not necessary. If you don't have that, you will be able to get just as intense with the movements using that mind-muscle connection I often mention. You can activate your muscles just with your mind very powerfully. There are great examples of athletes and bodybuilders throughout history who have really just used that mind-muscle connection to get a great workout in. And get a great physique that they're building. But today I will be utilizing these. That's a little extra fun for today. And as always, we're thinking about listening to our body mindfully throughout the session, being gentle with our body and adapting the movement to how difficult it can be for us at any given moment. How intense do you want the movement to be? How intense are you is your body inviting you to have the movement be? So that's it for our little overview here. We'll get started, and we're going to start by sitting towards the front of our chair. We want to be sitting upright and alert. Feet are flat on the ground. Our core is engaged. Our shoulders are down and back. We're sitting nice and tall. Chest is open and out. And then we lock all that in together by imagining there's a little golden string pulling us up through the crown of our head, giving us that extra little firmness in our core, in our posture. And throughout the workout, we keep returning to this idea of good posture. That's one of the mindfulness pieces that we can gain from this class, is really locking in that good posture. And we love to start off with a series of movements that coordinate our breathing with our body movement, linking up the breath with our body. And so today we're going to do steeple breaths. So we'll start with our hands in a nice prayer position in front of us. And then as we inhale, we'll reach up overhead, creating a steeple. So deep inhale through the nose. Hold the breath for a moment, exhaling fully out of your mouth. Bring the hands back to prayer position. Inhaling, arms go up overhead. Exhaling, come back down into prayer position. So we'll just treat that with a little rhythm on your own for a little bit. Find a nice synced up rhythm between your breath and the movement. And go on your own for a few seconds, for a little bit. Inhaling, stomach expands and opens up. Exhaling, hands come to center. Inhaling, stomach expands. Exhaling, navel comes in towards spine. Really start to work that breath up, get the breath involved, move in strongly. 2 more here. Good, and release the arms to the side. Shaking things out in between, always getting loose, feeling comfortable, having fun with it. That's what we're doing here. Now we're going to move from the top of our body down to the bottom, warming up our body with some light, gentle, steady movements, keeping in mind that we're breathing deeply throughout, stomach expanding on the in-breath always. In-breath is an expansion, out-breath is a contraction. And let's do some butterfly wings. So we're going to put our hands on the side of our head here, and we're just going to open up the shoulders, start to get the back warmed up. Just nice, steady, gentle movement here. Elbows coming in towards the front, expanding out to the side. You could turn a little bit with it, see how that feels. And good, arms come to the side, shaking things out, starting to move down the body here, having a little fun with this one. We're going to play some instruments. You can think of any instrument you like or follow along with me. I'm going to start off by just playing piano. It's a nice, big, wide piano. We could play to both sides, playing down in the low keys, coming up to the top, playing the high keys. We're getting the fingers moving, just move the fingers, the wrists in different ways. Getting the shoulders involved, spreading out to the sides. Nice wide piano out here, in tight, way out in front. Maybe we have a keyboard up to the side over here. Just getting moving. Now let's play a little violin. Just moving the body in different ways than it might be used to. If you know of any other instrument you would like to have yourself play right now, do that. Just getting the body moving in a fun way. We're going to play the violin both ways here. And now we're going to play a little bass. Bass is going to come up nice and high on us. Just moving those hands around. Coming to this side. Just moving the body in ways it might not be used to is a great way to get warmed up. Throwing a little chaos at the body, helping it to adapt to new movements. And with that, we'll pause. Moving down in the midsection and lower body, we're going to bring our right leg up onto our knee. And then we're going to lean forward at the waist. Still supporting ourselves. I could take my hands off my legs here. My chest is still out and open. Just bending over enough to feel a stretch through the right leg, the right hip, the right glute. Breathing deeply as you exhale, go deeper into the stretch. Inhale, remind yourself of that good posture. Big smiles on our face, relax all the facial muscles. Enjoy the workout, enjoy the movement. And coming back up, let's release. Let's come over to the left leg. Left leg coming up onto the knee, bending over gently at the waist. Still have a nice flat back. Chest is still out and open. Still got good posture. Still can feel that golden string lifting up my posture. Feeling a nice stretch through the left leg here. Inhale, get nice and tall, expand, open up that chest. Exhale, coming deeper into the stretch. And then inhale, sitting back up, releasing the left leg. Final warm-up movement. We're doing toe taps. Just pick 3 directions, left, center, and right. And we just reach out, tapping the toe, getting the legs moving. Getting our dance moves going here. Warming up the legs, warming up the ankles. Practicing proprioception, our awareness of our body in space. Good, let's come over to the right side here. Right, center, left, right, center, cross over. Start to reach out farther as you get warmed up, as your body invites you to a deeper range of motion. And pause. Good, excellent work. Great warm up there. Getting our body moving. Hopefully, maybe you're starting to crack a little bit of a sweat. The breath is increasing its rate a little bit. Those are all good signs that we're ready to work out. We've got 5 movements out of our chair. We do 40 seconds of work, 20 seconds of rest. The first is going to be our bicep curl into overhead press. Great movement for a little water bottle. An alternative version we could practice today is to do alternating. See if you could get that pattern going. That's a more difficult version. We'll start off with the basic version together. Next up, we did these last week, and we'll add a little bit more of an intense version here. It's going to be, we'll start off with our flutter kicks, which hopefully we're better at now. If you want a more difficult version, we get our bicycle kicks going. Riding a bike, if those are both too difficult, you could certainly do alternating leg extensions, just a good squeeze in the quad muscle. Third movement, another water bottle movement if you got them, or cans. We're going to bend over, and we're going to do a bent over row. Good flat back, chest still out and open. Nice healthy body position here, good posture. And we're doing a nice squeeze in the upper back. Fourth movement is going to be clam shells, pushing open our legs, working those hip abductors, pushing out against our chest and our arms. And then fifth movement is going to be alternating, reach over with a wide out, kicking out far, reaching over. That's our fifth movement. We could certainly work water bottles in with that as well. I probably will. Those are our 5 movements. And we start off with bicep curl and overhead press, and we could work that alternating version in if we're feeling comfortable this morning. Let's start into that in 3, 2, 1. So really focus on the bicep curl, get a good curl in the bicep, good press overhead. If you want to make this a little harder, we do an alternating version. Working hard for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Excellent work. Next up, you got options. Very basic. Most simple version is our good leg extension, getting stronger with that. If you feel like pushing that a little further, we got our flutter kicks. Even harder, we get our bicycle kicks in. I'll start off with some flutter kicks and move to bicycle kicks as I feel ready to go. Let's jump into that in 3, 2, 1. Getting into the bicycle kicks if you want. Core is engaged here, legs are working hard, supporting ourselves on our chair if we need it, but also able to pull our arms away. We're going to work strong through the end here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Little break. Next up is another good hand weight movement. If you want to just sit up straight and do horizontal row, if bending over irritates the back a little bit or makes the back a little unhappy, that's fine. But we're hoping to aim for a bent over row to really isolate the back. We'll jump into that in 3, 2, 1. Really using that mind muscle connection to imagine a good squeeze in the back muscles. Imagine there's a pencil in the center of your back and you're trying to pinch that pencil and hold it when you get to the end of the movement. Really activating all those back muscles. Working hard for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great work there. Next up is going to be our clam shells. You're pushing in with the arms, with the chest muscles, with the shoulder muscles. Pushing out with the legs. That's where the real movement is occurring. So the work we're focusing on is in the hips, the legs, the glutes. But we're using our chest and shoulder muscles to resist. Starting in 3, 2, 1. So my feet open up a little bit and roll over onto the side of the ankle, pushing the legs open. Really sitting towards the front of the chair on this one. Finish strong in 3, 2, 1. Great. Little break, one more movement. Certainly a good movement for some hand weights if you got them. Alternating wide out with a reach over. Great movement for the hand weights. Great movement without the hand weights. Let's start into that in 3, 2, 1. Finishing strong in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now it's time for an extended break. Great time to grab a drink of water. We always emphasize the importance of hydration. The weather seems to be cooling off a little bit, but it is still quite hot out there. And we've just come out of a really hot stretch. So we got to give our body exactly what it needs. And then after a little bit of a longer break to gather ourselves here, this is a good time for you to concentrate on slowing down the breath mindfully, inviting your body to slower deeper breaths, but we'll get back into our bicep curl into overhead press. We've got our flutter kicks or bicycle kicks. We've got our bent over row, our clam shells, and our reach over with a wide out. And that's going to be our second set of seated exercises. Some of these movements benefit from a little hand weight if you got it, but if not, you're always using that mind muscle connection. Bring your mind to the muscle we're working and really squeezing it, activating it, getting it involved in the movement. Imagine that there's a weight in your hand, even if you don't have it. That's going to make those muscles work nice and effectively. We'll start off with our bicep curl and overhead press in 3, 2, 1. I'm going right into the alternating version here. You do whichever version feels good for you. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Next up will be our flutter kicks or bicycle kicks. You can do leg extensions if you need to, but I'd love you to try to get those feet off the ground for the whole set. That would be a great little challenge for our body. And I'm going to get right into bicycle kicks here in 3, 2, 1. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo. Doing that bicycle kick for 40 seconds is definitely a challenge for the core or the quads. Everything's squeezing tight throughout that. That's great work. Next up will be our hopefully bent over row, but if this makes your back feel a little unhappy, you can certainly do it from the fully horizontal position. The big thing is that mind muscle connection, bringing your mind to those back muscles. Starting into that in 3, 2, 1. And pause. 2 more movements here before we finish our seated exercise. We got our clam shells sitting towards the front of our chair, really working the outside of the whole leg, the glutes, the hips. Good movement here, starting in 3, 2, 1. And pause in 3, 2, 1. Little break, one more movement. Alternating wide out with a reach over. Great full body movement here. Really get the heart moving as we transition into our standing exercises. So let's get this going in 3, 2, 1. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great work there. And with that, we're going to transition into our standing movements. So let's practice our good standing up mechanics. I'm going to adjust my camera. And as always, you know the story. Well, good time for you to grab a drink of water. I'll join you. We've got our chairs here for support. We'll use those in varying ways throughout our 5 movements here. But I will move it away from me so you can see the movement I'm doing. But you keep that chair nearby for support as you need it. And I'll show you how to work it in. We got 5 movements coming up here. The first is going to be a squat. So just good squat reps. We could use that chair to get a little more depth. We could pull away as we feel comfortable and confident. Good squat mechanics. Squat is a foundational movement. We love to work it in. Next up after that will be carrying forward our bent over row. We want a nice strong back. So we're going to bend over, good body position, good flat back. And we're rowing from here. Again, if that feels uncomfortable, if the back doesn't feel happy, you want to just do a standing horizontal row, that'll be fine as well. Third movement will be a curtsy lunge. So we're going to be supporting ourselves on the chair and we're going to cross over behind the other leg, alternating. So going into as deep of a lunge, I'm already thinking about lunge, as deep of a lunge as you can. So just to show you what that would look like, the chair is out in front of you and you're crossing over. If that's just to that position, that's going to be great for balance, great for the glutes. So that's a curtsy lunge. Fourth movement, again, chair in front of you, is going to be our rock the boat movement, coming up onto the calves, increasing the rock of the boat as we feel confident. Good for the calves, good for balance. And the fifth is going to be a yoga move. We're going to do the warrior 2 pose, which will end up looking like this. You'll have the chair in front of you. I'll talk you through these cues as we go, but that chair will be in front of you for support. And we'll hold that pose for 40 seconds on each side. Okay, those are our 5 movements. We're starting off with squats. Let's get into those right away in 3, 2, 1. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great work. Next up is going to be our bent over row. If we can get into it, that's a good position to be in. If you want to stand horizontal row, that's fine as well. But trying for that bent over version will be great for us. Another good movement for water bottles here. Let's get into that in 3, 2, 1. Real good squeeze in the back muscles. Working hard in 3, 2, 1. Great work there. Next up is going to be our curtsy lunge. So crossing over behind the other leg. We'll alternate to both sides, going as deep as you can. So the lunge is a difficult movement, might be tough on some people's knees. That's fine. Going as deep as you comfortably can. You're going to have that chair in front of you for support. I'm going to keep it away so you can see the movement, and we'll get into that in 3, 2, 1. And pause. Excellent movement there. Loosens up the hip flexors, gets the glutes involved. That's great for whole body health. Next up will be our rock the boat. So we start off, again, you got your chair in front of you. We start off both feet on the ground, just getting used to the rock of that boat. And as we go and feel more confident, we come up increasingly onto one foot into a calf extension. So a range of possibilities there. That's what I mean by adaptability. Go as far into the difficulty of the movement as you can, starting in 3, 2, 1. Real challenging version would be to come up into a full calf extension and hold it. Three, 2, 1. Great, let's rock the boat. Next up is going to be warrior 2. You've got this chair in front of you for balance. You could hold on to this the whole time, but I will be adding variations to do with your arms. But if you like that chair in front of you, you can stay there. It will be good for the 40 seconds, but I will move it away so that you could see the movement. And so basically we come out into a lateral lunge. Our left leg will be leading this time. Our left foot is pointing away from us. Our right foot is pointing towards the screen or at a 45-degree angle backwards. And we come down into a nice lunge. You've got your chair in front of you, but if you can, extend those arms out. We're starting together right now. We're going to hold this for 40 seconds. Nice, strong power pose here. If you want to go even deeper into the stretch, if you feel good here, feel like this is a challenge for 40 seconds, stick with it. If you want to come deeper down into a bent over version, this is great to get into as well. Very challenging here. We're going to hold this for 10 more. Wherever you are, staying nice and strong, breathing deeply, breathing into this movement. For 3, 2, 1. Exhale, return to center. Good work there, everybody. That's our first set of standing exercises. We've got one more coming up in a moment. Let's treat our bodies well with a drink of water. Everyone's doing great out there. Great way to start our Wednesday. Great gift we're giving to our body. So in a moment, we'll get our squats, we'll get our bent over rows, our curtsy lunge, our rock the boat, and our warrior two to the other side. Last set here, let's really push ourselves. Our bodies are feeling warm, excited, involved, ready to go, invigorated. The oxygen and blood is flowing around our body. We're ready to get into some intense movements here. This is the time of the workout to really give yourself a little bit of that extra push. Your body's ready for it. It's inviting you to it. Let's go a little bit more intense on these movements, starting with squats in 3, 2, 1. Ten more seconds here, pushing hard through the end. And pause. Next up will be our bent over row. Good flat back, engaged core, chest out and open if you're doing the bent over version. But no matter what you're doing, we're bringing that mind to those back muscles, squeezing that little pencil in between our upper back muscles. That'll get a great flex in our back, which is what we're looking for. In 3, 2, 1. And pause. Next up, with the chair in front of you for support, is our curtsy lunge, going as deep as feels comfortable on your knees and hips, even if it's just to cross over the back. That's going to really work on our balance, our proprioception, and the glutes do get involved in that. It's a nice little hamstring, hip flexor stretch as well. So let's move into that in 3, 2, 1. Again, you're standing, you got the chair in front of you for support. Use that to go a little deeper into the movement, but listen to your body. Three, 2, 1. Great work there. 2 more movements. Rock the boat, getting used to balance. Working side to side with our movement here. But as we get stronger and more comfortable, we're also working a calf extension. So we're coming up onto our toes, getting those calf muscles involved. We love to work the calves in 3, 2, 1. Working hard for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Whew, great. One more movement here. We have our warrior 2 to the right now, which is basically a lateral lunge and hold. When we get those arms involved, feeling nice and strong. You got the chair in front of you for support. Let's get right into that by lunging out. My right toe. Now my weight is more on my right knee, but distributed over the body. My right foot is pointing towards the screen. Or sorry, my right foot is pointing away from me. Left foot is pointing towards the screen or back at a 45-degree angle, somewhere that feels comfortable and confident for you. And let's start holding this position together now for 40 seconds. If you can get the arms up and extended, that's a great place to be as well. Isometric hold, holding the body in one position, breathing deeply and comfortably throughout. If you can, get into that extra stretch there. Holding strong for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Returning to center. And then slowly and gently returning to our chair. I'm going to adjust my camera. You start to actively slow your breathing down. Start to fall into a nice contemplative state. And I have put a poem into the chat that we'll be using for our mindfulness experience today. There's a link, there's a direct copy of the poem, or you could simply listen along to my voice. But this style of meditation is something like a mantra meditation, the repetition of a sacred word or phrase. In some of the Western traditions, it might be called Lectio Divina. Different names given to it throughout different traditions and time periods. But what they all share in common is a repetition of a sacred word or phrase given to us or received or found by us or created by us. Different approaches, different styles, but the basic approach is to link up the breathing with that repetition, that internal repetition of the word, to really bring it into our heart, into our soul, into our mind. And so what we'll do today is I'll read the poem once for content, just to get a sense of what the poem is saying. Then I'll read it a second time, and on that second time, listen for a word or a short phrase. Try to be focused. Avoid having whole long sentences maybe, but there's no right or wrong way to do this. You listen for a word or phrase that strikes you or grabs you, and then you repeat that gently with your breath, with the in-breath and with the out-breath. There's no right or wrong way to do this. Just let yourself have an experience and allow yourself to be moved. Don't look for the right answer or the word you think you need to hear. Just allow yourself to be grabbed, moved. Something that just takes your attention, moves your heart. And we can begin this by sitting in a good contemplative posture, one like we do at the start of class. Or if you have a posture you'd like to sit in, that is appropriate as well. I like to sit in a half lotus position recently. And the poem we'll look at is A Gift by Denise Levertov. So let's begin by taking a deep breath in through our nose. Hold the breath for a moment and release out of the mouth. Clear away any distractions or worries. And just live deeply in this moment. And this is a gift. Just when you seem to yourself nothing but a flimsy web of questions, you are given the questions of others to hold in the emptiness of your hands. Songbird eggs that can still hatch if you keep them warm. Butterflies opening and closing themselves in your cupped palms, trusting you not to injure their scintillant fur, their dust. You are given the questions of others as if they were answers to all you ask. Yes, perhaps this gift is your answer. Now, when I read a gift again, listen for a word or phrase that reaches your heart. Just when you seem to yourself nothing but a flimsy web of questions, you are given the questions of others to hold in the emptiness of your hands. Songbird eggs that can still hatch if you keep them warm. Butterflies opening and closing themselves in your cupped palms, trusting you not to injure their scintillant fur, their dust. You are given the questions of others as if they were answers to all you ask. Yes, perhaps this gift is your answer. So now take your word or phrase, and for 4 or 5 minutes, repeat it gently to yourself along with your breath. And if any fear or worry or distraction pops up, let it float away and return to the repetition of your word. bring our meditation to a close, I'll read a gift one more time. Just when you seem to yourself nothing but a flimsy web of questions, you are given the questions of others to hold in the emptiness of your hands. Songbird eggs that can still hatch if you keep them warm. Butterflies opening and closing themselves in your cupped palms, trusting you not to injure their scintillant fur, their dust. You are given the questions of others as if they were answers to all you ask. Yes, perhaps this gift is your answer. And you can gently open your eyes and return to full awareness in the room you're in. You can wiggle your fingers and your toes, stretch out a little bit. But whatever word or phrase struck you today, you can carry with you as a little bit of a mantra or a meditation throughout your next day, your next week. A little tool to hold inside and to use when you feel taken out of yourselves or worried or stressed. And I hope you have a wonderful remainder to your day. And I hope to see you next week back here on a wonderful Wednesday.
Hi, everyone. This is Z from Yonkers Public Library. Thanks so much to Sally Pinto and Alexis from Newark. Thank you to our community partners, WJCS, the City of Yonkers Office for the Aging, Friends of Crestwood Library, and Yonkers Public Library for making this phenomenal partnership. And we thank each and every one of you for being part of our wellness community. Be well, stay well.